Receive an update from the City Manager and Senior Leadership Team with respect to the positions of Chief Financial Officer, City Treasurer, and the Director of Long-Term Care and the exemption request pursuant to the City's bilingualism policy for these positions. Je tiens à aviser les personnes ici.
Tell people today that the Council has just met in camera to get an update from the City Manager and from Senior Managers about the City Treasurer and Long-Term Care Director and asking for an exemption to the bilingualism policy.
And procedural motions and/or directions to staff. We have a motion from Councillor Dudas, seconded by Councillor DeRuse, with respect to the appointment of the Chief Financial Officer as City Treasurer of the City of Ottawa. Councillor Dudas, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas on March 20th, 2019, the City Manager announced the pending retirements of two of the City's General Managers on the Senior Leadership Team. Whereas on March 27th, 2019, City Council received a presentation on the succession planning at the senior management level by the City Manager, which streamlines the City of Ottawa's organizational structure for the effective and efficient delivery of the services that is in keeping with City Council's priority for a proactive succession management program. Whereas the City Manager has also provided an overview of a new organizational alignment on areas within his delegated authority, which included personal matters about identifiable individuals as well as employee and labor relations. Whereas Council received the City of Ottawa's succession planning for the senior management level and new organizational structure as presented by the City Manager at the City Council meeting of March 27, 2019, and approved the change in title and scope of two statutory officers as described in the associated presentation, and as follows: that the City Clerk and Solicitor position become two positions, one being that the City Clerk and one being the City Solicitor, and that the City Treasurer and General Manager of Corporate Services become two positions, the City Treasurer, Chief Financial Officer, and the General Manager of Innovative Client Services. And whereas after a comprehensive national recruitment effort, a Chief Financial Officer has been selected. Whereas Section 286.1 of the Municipal Act 2001 requires the City to appoint a treasurer who is responsible for handling all of the financial affairs of the municipality on behalf of and in the manner directed by the Council of the municipality. Therefore, it be resolved that Wendy Stephenson, Chief Financial Officer, be appointed the Treasurer for the City of Ottawa effective December 12, 2019, and be it further resolved that Council approve an exemption pursuant to the Section R6313 of the bilingualism policy for Mrs. Stephenson on the understanding that Wendy Stephenson will undertake French language training and progress in this area, and that her proficiency will be assessed as part of her ongoing performance reviews.
Merci, Madame Dudas.
Thanks, Ms. Dudas. Seconded by Mr. DeRose.
Next motion is by Councillor Dudas, seconded by Councillor DeRose, please.
Whereas Section R631, number 3 of the City's bilingualism policy requires that bilingualism be considered a prerequisite for any internal promotion to a designated bilingual position within level 1 to 3 management groups, and that any exceptions after having undertaken a comprehensive recruitment effort shall be require Council approval. Therefore, it be resolved the City Council approve an exception pursuant to Section R6313 of the bilingualism policy for Dean Lett on the understanding that Dean Lett will undertake French language training and progress in this area, and that his proficiency will be assessed as part of his ongoing performance reviews.
Bon, merci. Appuyé par Monsieur DeRose.
Seconded by Mr. DeRose on the motion.
Great. Notice the motion for consideration at subsequent meeting. Avis de motion présent à réunion subséquente. Councillor Kavanagh, notice the motion reparking revenues. You've already introduced that, so I think that stands as being introduced, and we'll deal with that at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other notice of motion for subsequent meetings? A motion to introduce bylaws. Excusez-moi, Conseiller Dudas.
Councillor Dudas.
I don't have a notice of motion, but I do have a question. I don't know.
Under inquiries.
Other inquiries? Skip.
Yeah, perfect. Motion to introduce bylaws. Motion portant présentation de règlement. Conseiller Tierney, appuyé par Conseiller Gower, s'il vous plaît.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. That the bylaws listed on the agenda under motions to introduce bylaws, 3 readings, be read and passed. that the following bylaws be read and passed in accordance with the motion approved at this meeting. A bylaw of the City of Ottawa to amend bylaw number 2018-362 entitled A Bylaw of the City of Ottawa to establish the interim control lands within the Westboro neighborhood be extended to the interim control for 1 year.
On the motion, carried. Confirmation bylaw, Conseiller Tierney, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That the following bylaws be read and passed to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting of October 9th, 2019.
Carried. Councillor Dudas, inquiry, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm cognizant of the fact that OC Transpo management and staff are not here today, and they are where they should be, dealing with the situation with LRT and with our transit service. It's absolutely essential that we know when the next update is going to be provided as to what happened today and what the solutions are. Can you let me know and let council know and everyone in this room know when we can expect that?
Yeah, thank you. I'll ask Mr. Kanellakis to confirm, but in a meeting I had with Mr. Kanellakis and Chair Hubley and Mr. Manconi and other staff to express our profound disappointment at what happened with the door issue on the train, I believe at Lyon Station, that he will be being made available for a media scrum later today. Mr. Kanellakis?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I've just been advised by Mr. Manconi that he's going to be briefing me at 1 o'clock. They're making progress. He's brought in his entire team, including Alstom, RTM. We have our rail experts, our door experts. Everyone's in full on this issue to find out the root cause and mitigation measures going forward. So 1 o'clock, I'll be getting an update that Mr. Manconi will be available to the media early this afternoon to give the results of his findings.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Menard has a written inquiry.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. The inquiry is, can you report back to Council in a timely fashion with the policy rationale for offering free transit on the days we currently do, and what criteria might we utilize to assess what other days might make good policy sense to implement free transit in Ottawa? That's the first inquiry. I have a second inquiry as well, and that's about receiving all maintenance reports prior to the launch of LRT related to door issues that were being experienced. I'd like to see those maintenance reports prior to the launch of LRT around door issues we were experiencing.
So if you have a copy of that second
yeah,
one,
I can send that to Caitlin, no problem.
Councillor Leeper, inquiry.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. Yesterday afternoon, we received a memo from Mr. Manconi with respect to the LRT issues that we were experiencing. At 2:35 in the afternoon, I asked Mr. Manconi a question. I have not yet received a reply, and so I'll put it forward as a formal motion today. With respect to the LRT disruption yesterday, was in lay terms anything physically broken when the passenger held the door open? That is, was the door's continued inability to operate when technicians went to fix it the result of a mechanical failure, or was it a programming issue? Is the affected train operating now? If so, what was done to fix it? If not, what issues specifically are being addressed to fix it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And you put that in writing for the Deputy Clerk. Councillor Tierney, adjournment.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That the proceedings of the City Council meeting of October 9th, 2019 be adjourned.
Carried. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and hope you have some time to spend with your family and loved ones. Meeting adjourned.